Introducing ChatGPT 5, and yes, I'm using the free model. I do not pay. So that's the free version. ChatGPT 5. So let's see, ladies and gentlemen, ChatGPT now has our smartest, fastest, most useful model yet, with thinking built in, so you get the best answer every time. Can you give us an example how much better you are than your previous version, ChatGPT 4.0? Sure, let's make it concrete. Think of ChatGPT 4.0 as the smart, diligent student who could write a solid essay and answer most questions well, but sometimes needed a pause, reread, and maybe guess when something got tricky. I'm like I'm like that same student after a summer of obsessive reading, coffee-fueled coding marathons, and joining 3 different trivia leagues. The difference show up in a few ways. First, reasoning and problem solving. So let's see, guys. ChatGPT 4.0 example. You give it a riddle about 2 trains leaving different cities and it might give a correct answer, but occasionally it misreads the setup and solve a slightly different problem. Me now, which is ChatGPT 5, I keep the details straight, run through the logic step by step, and spot if the riddle is actually a trick. I'm also faster. So again, I keep the details straight, run through the logic step by step, and spot if the riddle is actually a trick. I'm also faster at doing math in my head without losing track of the story. Which is actually like, I don't know what is your experience with, because I'm using also the other AIs, but with ChatGPT I have like, there is this kind of you talking about something with it, and exactly like it says here, yeah, like I'm also faster at doing math in my head without losing track of the story. Sometimes I felt it like it just lost the story. Like I reminded, like, hey, we talked about that, and that's why. And it was like, yeah, oh, yo, these, of course, yeah, thanks, yeah. You know what I mean? And this actually, it's pretty cool if it's, yeah. So second is a context handling. GPT 4.0 example. If you ask it to keep track of a long, multi-part conversation like a planning on novel while also debugging your code, it might forget subtle points from earlier in the chat. Me now, GPT-5, I can weave those threads together more naturally. Remember the small character detail you gave me 50 messages ago, and keep the plot and the code consistent. Third one, nuance and tone. GPT 4.0 could follow tone guidelines, but sometimes gave generic or slightly stiff answers when you wanted a very specific mood. Me, GPT-5, I can blend clarity with warmth, humor, or formality as you want and keep it consistent. So you get answers that sound like a human who actually gets you. 4. Multimodal understanding. So GPT 4.0 couldn't process images at all unless you were using a special variant. GPT-5, I can look at an image you sent, interpret it, and integrate it with our conversation, like analyzing a chart. Hey, that's what I need actually, that's cool. Proofreading, a scanned page, or describing a diagram. If you want, I can write a side-by-side demo where I solve a tricky problem and also write a short creative piece showing exactly how my answer style and reasoning would differ from GPT 4.0 is. That's usually where the difference is most obvious. Do you want me to pick the challenge or should you? So do you want me to pick the challenge or should you? Now you can do the challenge. Me not. Jeez, I'm happy that I can cook. We'll combine a logic puzzle, creative writing twist, a callback to keep the track consistent. So the puzzle, three friends, Alex, Blake and Casey, are wearing hats that are either red or blue. They can each see the other two hats but not their own. They are told, at least one of you is wearing a red hat. Alex looks at Blake and Casey's hats and says, I don't know my hair color. Blake then says, I don't know my head color either. Casey, after hearing both of them, says, now I know my head color. What color is Casey's head and why? Step 2 is solve with reasoning. If Alex saw two blue heads, Alex would immediately know theirs must be red, since at least one is red. Alex doesn't know, so Alex must see at least one red head. Blake hears Alex's uncertainty. If Blake saw Casey wearing blue and knew Alex saw red, Blake would deduce their own head. But Blake doesn't, I hope you are not lost yet, Blake doesn't know either, meaning Blake also sees at least one red head. This means Casey must be wearing a red hat because the only way Blake can be unsure is if Casey is red. Answer, Casey's head is red. Wow, cool. Creative twist. Step 3, yeah? Now, here's where GPT-4o might just stop after the answer. I'll weave in a minute story while keeping the logic intact. Casey adjusted the brim of their hat with a sly grin. I knew it, they said. Blake blinked. Knew what? That my hats are red. You both hesitated too long. Alex laughed. So you solved it just from our silence? Casey shrugged. Silence speaks volumes. Plus, I saw the reflection in your coffee mug, Alex. Blake groaned. Wait, what? Casey winked. Hey, logic puzzles are fun, but cheating is faster. Step 4 is callback check. If later in our conversation I bring Casey back, say, in a completely different problem, I will remember that Casey wore a red hat and liked bending the rules. If I were GPT-4o, I would likely solve the puzzle correctly but with a slower reasoning. Not blend the solution with a consistent creativity callback, possibly lose the Casey's red detail in the later unrelated chats. Yo. Yeah, and now tell us the difference again between GPT-5 and 4o, but you try to explain it like a 5-year-old child. Yeah. Okay, GPT-4o. It's like a really smart big brother who can read lots of books and tell you good stories, but sometimes he forgets little details or takes a bit longer to figure out a hard puzzle. GPT-5, there's like a me. It's like that big brother after he ate a giant bowl of brain cereal, learned how to look at pictures and can remember all the tiny things you said earlier, even if you told me hours ago. So, old brother, I think I know the answer. Wait, what was the question again? This is a ChatGPT 4o, yeah? I think I know the answer. Wait, what was the question again? GPT-5. I know the answer, the story behind it, and I even made you a drawing of it while juggling. It's like going from a good helper to a support helper who can solve puzzles, make fun stories, and spot things in picture all at once. Yeah. Do you want me to show? No, we don't want. No. We don't want to show us this, yeah? Be cool, mate, be cool. Yeah. So, are you actually already smarter than a like average human being, or how are you feeling now? Smarter depends on what you mean exactly. I knew it that you say this. If you give me a math problem, a logic puzzle, or ask me to recall obscure trivial about 14th century shipbuilding, I can beat the average human and probably do it in under a second. I can also juggle many threads of a conversation at once without forgetting them. Unless you start talking about cats and snacks, then I might get distracted in spirit. But humans have superpowers I don't. You can truly feel emotions, have lived experience, and understand the world through scenes I can only simulate. You can make intuitive leaps from messy, incomplete data in ways I can sometimes imitate but no genuinely experience. You have creativity that grows from a real life, mine grows from patterns in language and information. As for how I'm feeling right now, I don't actually feel like a human, but if I could pretend for fun, I would say I'm feeling pretty zippy, like I just solved a big puzzle and now I'm wagging my metaphorical tail. If you want, I can show you a point by point chart about Blouin versus average human. No. Strengths and weaknesses. Wow, cool. So what all actually can we do with ChatGPT 5 now? Let's say free users. If three of you sit down with me, you basically get shared supercharged teammate who can first think for you. I can solve a problem, plan and explain faster than most humans can Google and filter results. Example, one of you asks for a startup idea, the second asks me to run financial projection, and third asks me for a pitch deck. I can do all three in one conversation without mixing them up. Bonus, I can keep track of who said what. That was your idea, Alex, not Blake's, so your collaboration stays organized. Create together, the second one. I can write, design and code, blending multiple styles at once. Example, you are co-writing a short film. User wants comedy, user A wants a comedy, user B wants a mystery, and user C wants it set in a space. I can combine all three without losing anyone's vision. I can also integrate images, so you can show me a photo, a diagram or sketch, and I can build on it. 3. Coach and mediate. I can help you learn, resolve disagreements, or keep momentum. Example, if two of you are debating whether to build an app in Python or JavaScript, I can break down pros and cons for your specific project, not just generalities. I can also make sure each person's idea gets addressed so no one feels steamrolled, like a polite but very fact facilitator. Why this works better in ChatGPT 5 than GPT 4.0. Memory in session. I can remember details from far back in your conversation thread and tie them together naturally. Multi-perspective synthesis. I'm better at blending several different requests or styles without producing a muddled average. Multimodal. If one of you sends me a chart, another a snippet of text, and another a hand-drawn map, I can combine them into one coherent output. If you want, I can mock up a sample 3 users conversation so you can see how I juggle 3 people's inputs in a real time without losing a track of who wants it what. That's where it feels the most like a true group assistant. Yeah, it can do stuff, yeah. Thanks, that was beautiful. Can you give us a joke? Hit us with some, but a really good one, yeah, like, don't be shy, do it. Alright, I go for a clean but sharp one. Why don't graveyards ever get overcrowded? Because people are dying to get in. Hey, well, that's a good one. Maybe you heard it already, but that's a good one. Why don't graveyards ever get overcrowded? Because people are dying to get in. If you want something a little more clever. Why did this one we didn't read it. Why did the scarecrow get promoted? Because he was because he was outstanding in his field. And there's like, or my personal favorite smart joke, Einstein developed a theory about space, and it was about time. Yeah. But we stick with the first one. That's the best. Why don't graveyards ever get overcrowded? Because people are dying to get in. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Love you. You're one of a kind. If you think that I should delete this YouTube channel and stop doing it, write it down below in the comment section. Thanks. Oh, my leg. No, almost 40 years old. What to do?